Quite an unusual display was exhibited at the Italian Cultural Institute of Cairo. Tourists and locals came to admire the exact copies of two precious artifacts from the Egyptian necropolis of Saqqara. The originals, which were found inside the tombs of Horemheb and the royal butler Taimuya, are today part of the Egyptian collection of the Archaeological Museum of Bologna in Italy. The tomb of Horemheb was first discovered in the second decade of the 19th century. Very likely the person who found it was a woman. We might regard her as the first woman archaeologist, first female Egyptologist in the world, Amalia Nizzoli. The artifacts she and her husband collected were then sold to the Bolognese painter Pelagio Palagi, who after death left them to his hometown. And that's the reason why this relief is now in Bologna. It testifies to the splitting of a very important tomb whose parts and pieces are stored in museums all over the world, in Bologna, Florence, Leiden, Berlin. The original relief go back to the reign of Tutankhamun, that is more than 3,000 years ago, and were made from limestone. They are so fragile as precious and could be seriously damaged if improperly handled. As far as we are concerned, it's perhaps the most important nucleus of our collection. Materials that other museums have repeatedly asked for loan, but we were never able to lend because of their delicate condition. Thanks to cutting-edge technologies, though, we have finally been able to make the replicas of the relief, with the cooperation of some high-quality Italian firms, equipped with sophisticated artisan skills and competence. To make the replicas as faithful as possible, it was necessary to acquire accurate information about the relief's outward characteristics and shapes. That was done with a methodology developed by Protolab, the reverse engineering and prototyping laboratory at the ENEA Bologna Research Centre in Italy. The space coordinates of more than 30 million points on the surfaces of each relief were stored with a high-resolution laser scanner. At no time did a researcher ever tamper with the manufacts. They were repeatedly caressed by the laser beam instead. And then, at the ENEA Casaccia Research Centre near Rome, the collected data were assembled to create three-dimensional Vitron models. The methodology, which is utterly non-destructive and very accurate, provides useful information both to the restorer and the academic. The Vitron models were then sent to the Italian firm Unocad and Zanchetta Mami, where the actual marble sculpting was carried out. It's a joint project of the Archaeological Museum of Bologna and ENEA, which have common objectives. And the most important one is to help the preservation of unique and very fragile masterpieces. A gift from the Archaeological Museum of Bologna to the Egyptian government, the replicas, after a short time's exposition at the Italian Cultural Institute of Cairo, will be taken to Saqqara to complete the restoration of the tombs. Plundered and exposed to hostile weather conditions and the spreading of the desert sand for a long time, Saqqara is one of the most significant archaeological sites in Egypt. As a result of the excavation and restoration campaign, which is being carried on by the Archaeological Museum of Leiden in the Netherlands, some important tombs and monuments have been reopened to the public since 2011. In the meanwhile, another replica of Taimuya's relief, as faithful as the first one, was produced to remain in the city of Bologna. Another objective of our project is to use high-quality replicas in tactile path, which we do not mean to confine to blind people, but open to everybody, because we often cannot see infinite details, such as these engravings' infinite details.